Hello and welcome to the March Charter Chat. I missed seeing all of you last month because Indra and Rick and I were all presenting at CCSA. So it's nice to be back. So this is the Charter Authorizer Support Initiative Charter Chat for March 25th. Next slide, please. And this is our caveat. The information contained in this presentation is provided as a reference only. Charter schools and chartering authorities are encouraged to review the laws and regulations and consult with their own legal counsel regarding the application to their specific situations. So even though you do have some recovering education lawyers on this call, we are not here to provide legal assistance. We are just here to provide information for all of you. So you see the caveat. Next slide, please. So this is our agenda. And we are very grateful that we are going to have Megan here to talk, to be a guest speaker. And we are also going to have our breakout rooms today by topic. So we're going to start off with introductions, current updates, hot topics, breakout rooms, and our Q&A. So I'm going to remind all of you about Zoom etiquette. Please keep yourself muted. You can put questions in the chat, and there will also be a Q&A at the end. This session is being recorded. However, we will only be recording in the main room. The breakout rooms are not recorded. So next slide, please. So I'm Michelle Johnson. I'm with the Santa Clara County Office of Education. I am joined by my partners from the Los Angeles County Office of Education and the San Diego Unified School District. And we are here with support from the California Charter Authorizing Professionals, or CCAP. CASI is under the auspices of the CDE, and we have some art. We have our wonderful friends from CDE, and especially I want to thank Rick Reyes for being here as well. Just so that all of you know, we do have to read everything on the slide with regards to ensure accessibility. So please forgive us if it does seem a little wordy at times. Next slide, please. So please rename yourself. Oh, which reminds me, I now have to do that as well. Please put your name. So if you are trying to figure out how to do this, go to the three little dots on the side of your picture and rename yourself and put your name, which for me is Michelle Johnson, and your organization. So we need to know as we're going into breakout rooms who we're talking to. So now you can see that mine is Michelle Johnson at Santa Clara COE. Our breakout rooms today are going to be fiscal, annual visits oversight, renewal, non-classroom based rooms, and general questions. And you will be able to self-select which breakout room you want to participate in. Next slide, please. And I am going to turn the time over to Tom to give us the legislative update.
Thanks, Michelle. Hello, everybody. This month's update will be very short. Last time we talked about the trailer bill, and that's still where the action is, but the action is a little bit of inaction right now as we understand that there's, sort of some behind the scenes quiet stuff going on, but it's not in high gear, at least from what we were told. I was walking the building for 2 days a couple of weeks ago and met with a bunch of people, and the word I get, just to recap and to fulfill my duty to say on the slide what's on the slide. Some, but not all, of the things that were in SB 414 are in the trailer bill, largely on the fiscal and auditing stuff, things that we cared about at CCAP and with the authorizer feedback, like the inspector general function, are not in there, but a lot of the auditing stuff is. This is what they're using to revive the mandate on verified data. But again, things are quiet at the moment. The word we're hearing, and if anybody here, chime in. Some of you actually have government affairs people in the larger authorizing offices or the larger districts and counties. If you know something, let us know. But what we were hearing is most likely it's going to be kind of the trailer bill is it. There's not going to be a separate policy bill with the big sweeping things. It's going to be a narrow approach. And, from our perspective, that probably means we're going to be having authorizing conversations again in a year or two with a new governor and new lawmakers. But that seems to be, at least from what we're hearing, where things stand. That's it.
All right, thank you. So moving on to the next slide, we have California Department of Education and State Board of Education updates. So the State Board met on March 11th and 12th, and their agenda included non-classroom based funding determinations, charter renewal appeals of two State Board authorized charters, uh, the Advisory Commission on Charter Schools, or ACCS, meeting is going to be held on April 7th of 2026, and the next state board meeting will be held on May 12th and 13th. So, next slide. So, I don't know if did Rick run away?
Yeah,
Okay.
he had to leave.
He had to leave. So Rick asked me if we could do a quick survey on renewals. So please, it's a 3 question survey, basically asking, and this is for authorizers, but it's asking how long does it take you to process a renewal? And so please go through the process of answering these 3 questions. And if you have any extra information or things that you want to expand upon, you can throw it in the chat and we will make sure that that chat information also gets to Rick. So please go take the time. I will stop talking at this moment and answer the few questions that are there before we move on. All right. So I just took the survey and noticed that anybody can take the survey because it does have who you are. Next slide, please. All right. So we're moving into the hot topics section of our charter chat. This provides information on topics relevant to the oversight of charter schools. We'll have program hot topics and fiscal hot topics. Next slide, please. So under the program hot topics, the first item is the comprehensive school safety plan. Safety plans have to be updated by March 1st, and the CDE has a great template. There are several new additions. So all this information is available on the resource page, and you can access all that information in the participant slide deck. The next item is Form 700. So Form 700s have to be completed by April 1st. As an authorizer, you should be aware of all the Form 700s that are being submitted as part of the conflict of interest categories. And so please double check and make sure that all of those Form 700s are being submitted. Uh, Charter renewal notification to CDE. So as a reminder, charter renewal process to the CDE. You can see the resource page for details, but notification should occur within 10 days after approving the charter. And under Ed Code, it is one of the authorizers' responsibilities to be the one to notify the CDE. So please make sure that you are completing this notification process to the CDE so that they can update all of their documentation. Notification includes a copy of the official action, meaning the minutes, the board resolution, or a signed letter from your superintendent, a copy of the updated petition, and if the school was low performing, a copy of the improvement plan. You should give an example of so the board secretary could send an excerpt of the minutes if you are trying to get it within that 10 days so that and so I did see that there was a question about Form 700. Let's see. Does oversight include having copies of these documents in your files? So, Felicia, you already know what's my favorite answer? It depends. Um, I know that for my office, we actually do request copies of all of the Form 700s. I've had offices uh, where they've just said, give us the list of the people who have to do it and the date that they submitted their documents. But my office actually requests a copy of the list of each of the forms. Mifala is asking, is there a checklist for reviewing this CSSP? And there actually is a checklist. It's on the CDE website. The thing is, with regards to that checklist, it is more designed for district rather than charter schools. There are certain items in the comprehensive school safety plan that are really only designed for districts. But if you want to see my copy of my list, then I can give that to you as well.
Sorry, I'm in a meeting. I'm in a second meeting.
Okay. Next slide, please. And I'm going to turn the time over to Shalou. Oh, no, I'm turning the time over to Megan. I apologize, Shalou. We have Megan here to talk about stacks.
Thank you, Michelle. Good morning, everyone. The California Department of Education Charter Schools Division Public Charter Schools Grant Program Office is pleased to announce the Statewide Technical Assistance for Charter Schools, or STACS. The purpose of STACS is to provide technical assistance to schools on best practices for increasing academic achievement in the following topic areas: English learners, special education, socioeconomically disadvantaged students, career and technical education, and innovative strategies. Our STACS providers, we're very excited to have them execute the technical assistance, which will be a combination of best practice webinars. Those will be virtual learning sessions designed to build educators' knowledge and share best practices aligned to each of the topic areas, and also continuous improvement networks, which will be smaller communities of practice where educators will work collaboratively to apply the webinar learning, analyze data, and strengthen school practices. Additionally, there may be one-on-one opportunities for support with implementation. Participation in the webinars and continuous improvement networks is completely free of charge. And we would appreciate authorizers and others in the field sharing this exciting opportunity with the charter schools and the LEAs they support. It is open to all with a focus on California charter schools. And there you'll see our stacks providers, West Ed, Loyola Marymount University Center for Equity for English Learners, the Orange County Department of Education, and of course the Santa Clara County Office of Education. You can visit our webpage here to find out more because Stacks is a sub-grant program funded by the California Department of Education's Federal Charter Schools Program Grant. Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you. All right, next slide, please. We're going to turn the time over to Shalou.
Yes, finally, it's me. Thank you, Michelle. So moving on to some informational items for fiscal oversight. As we move into the spring reporting cycle, there are several important fiscal deadlines to keep in mind, starting with second interim report. By now, the authorizer should have received and be in the process of reviewing the second interim reports, which were due on March 15th. These reports provide an updated snapshot of each charter school fiscal position as of January 31st, along with the projections for the remainder of the fiscal year. Second, the auditor selection form due by April 1st. Under Education Code 41020, each LEA governing board is responsible for securing an independent audit. If the board does not do so by the deadline, which is April 1st, pursuant to Education Code 41020B3, the county superintendent of schools shall contract on behalf of the LEA, and the cost of the audit shall be chargeable to the LEA. Finally, also due by April 1st is the June 2026 deferral exemption required documents to CDE. Pursuant to Education Code 14041.8, eligible school districts and charter schools may apply for a limited exemption from the June to July apportionment deferrals. The authorizing agency must submit the application on behalf of the authorized charter to deferral exemptions at cde.ca.gov not later than April 1st. The CDE deferral exemption application and other requirements can be found by clicking the link provided on the resource page. Next slide, please. Okay, back to you, Michelle.
Great. Thank you, Shalou, for that information. All right, so we are now going to be moving into the breakout rooms. You will be moved, so you're not being moved into the assigned breakout rooms. You get to self-select. Our breakout rooms today are fiscal, oversight annual visits, renewal, non-classroom based, or general questions. So please understand that because this is self-selected, we could have anybody in any of these rooms. Please keep introductions short in the interest of time. We are going to be reporting back out the highlights to the full group. And we're going to give you until 10:40, so at least 20 minutes. So I will the note taker, it should be in the link. And I will see everybody in the breakout rooms. All right, it looks like everybody is back now. I hope everyone had a good breakout session. I know that my room was lots of fun. So we'll actually start with we'll go in reverse order. So my room was the general questions. So in the general questions section, we talked about what is a countywide charter. We talked about renewal a little bit, some just basic questions. And then we also had a question about DOS and what was the state board's decision. So I'm actually going to call on my friend Michael to share out the info from the last board meeting with regards to DOS and the definition. So take it away, Michael.
Um, Sorry, this is Katrina. Michael might, he's at a conference and he's having internet problems.
Oh, well, thank you. Katrina, can you share?
Sure. So the application process for alternative schools of choice and charter schools that meet the criteria to become application-based DAS schools will be opening the week of March 30th. So that is next week. This process is only for charter schools or alternative schools of choice that did not have DAS status on the 2025 dashboard. So anybody that's on the list currently is still staying. That was the state board's decision. We are opening it up for new applications. So the renewal application process for existing application-based DAS schools for the 26-27 accountability year and the 27 dashboard is anticipated to open later this year once the state board has established how they're going to be dealing with that. LEAs in schools are encouraged to regularly monitor the DAS webpage for the most current information, and we will be sending out that information as soon as we have it from the state board meetings. Any questions?
So Katrina, thank you so much for filling in for Michael. Michael, I'm glad you've got your internet back, and so Katrina did a great job for you. So all right, we are going to move on to room 4. Tiffany.
Hi, we were in the non-classroom based room and I am looking for my notes. I was actually spending a little bit of time looking for the trailer bill language because we did talk a little bit about how the trailer bill would impact non-classroom based schools. And we had several charter school administrators in our room, and they said they were concerned about increases in audit costs and increases in personnel costs on their side preparing for the audit, as it would be more extensive if the trailer bill were passed as it is right now. I do have the trailer bill language that is just about charter schools, and I think we can add it to our resource page. Would that be okay, Michelle? Or I'll drop it in and make it a link, and then we can send it out to everyone so that they would have it. Or someone made a link. Thank you, Mary. We also discussed small school districts authorizing several non-classroom based or larger ADA charter schools than the authorizing district. And we were fortunate to have those some charter schools in our room as well. So we talked about their most recent renewals and their upcoming renewals, and just able to have a few different perspectives from authorizers and third-party vendors and also charter schools. So great conversation.
Thank you. All right, moving on to room 3, and I believe this is Deidre. Deidre.
Deidre, I can do it.
Okay, great. Thank you. I was going to ask you to do that portion.
Thanks,
So
Jeff.
that does help. Thank you.
So there's a lawsuit going on currently in Los Angeles where a judge has basically ruled that the 90-day timeline for renewals is not in effect, and it's in fact the original pre-1505 60-day timeline. And because LA Unified didn't approve the charter within 60 days, they were automatically approved. They won that lawsuit, but my guess is it will be appealed because it goes against everything AB 1505 basically got hammered out. And so we're waiting to see. Currently, it only applies to that school, is our understanding. And so we'll see if other schools join the suit or if an appeal comes through that gives us better clarity. But it would be earth-shattering in the charter community if this goes forward as is. We also talked about renewals coming from someone other than the board, and whether or not a renewal can be submitted without board approval, or if we should be requiring board approval for renewals. And my thought on it was that even if there isn't a statute or a legal language about it, the school is run by the board. And so any existential questions about the board, like material revisions, renewals, and initials, should be coming from the board. And so that's an authorizer procedure in terms of requiring that or not. But it is good practice to do that. And then we got cut off on our last topic of dealing with the new growth score data on the dashboard. Basically, we were only able to talk about if a school is submitting something, then we would take a look at what they're submitting, but we're waiting for guidance on a lot of that.
Michelle and Jeff, can I ask a question about the timeline? If we have a pending non-classroom based charter proposal coming our way as a district, would you do a 60-day or a 90-day?
Yeah,
It's specific for renewals. So if it's a new initial, don't worry about it. You can still do 90 days for initials. It's 60 days really just for renewals.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
For chiming in. And I think, Indra, aren't you on the next one?
Yes.
So you've got oversight and annual visits.
Yeah. So we had some good discussion, really talking about, what do you do during that annual visit versus what are you doing throughout the year? How do you break that up? What ends up going on the end of year report? How much of it is the annual visit? How much of it is things that you're collecting or doing throughout the year? We also had a discussion specifically on sort of teacher credentials and how much you're looking at that. When are you looking at that versus the CalSAS report, which we know is a year later? And how do we use that CalSAS report in terms of our monitoring and oversight? And we offered some help to some people and we talked a lot about some different templates and some different checklists and getting those resources out to people.
All right, and room one. So Shalou and Rich.
Rick, if you want to take it away.
Sure. We had a question about school closures. That's county's going through a school closure right now. So we chatted about all the steps, what they should do, talking about notifying parents, and all the proper departments and all the distribution of assets. We looked at the importance of looking at all the warning signs and risks and what could have been done before a mid-year closure that could have maybe helped from that not happening. We had a question about what to do with the 501c3 to get verification of its closure to be able to transfer the assets. Shalou said you could get a letter, or I know sometimes you need actual verification from the state. And then someone had a question about how is in lieu calculated the first year. So there is a calculator up on the Department of Education for that. So.
Perfect. Thank you all so much. So, next slide, please. We love feedback. So please complete our short after meeting survey to share your feedback and suggest breakout room topics for later on. I hope that today's charter chats was very helpful. Our breakout rooms were focused on topics based off of that we've heard in the past. So we do take feedback very seriously, and we adjust based off of what we learn. So please take the time to complete our survey. Next slide, please. So upcoming CASI events, our next charter chat will be, hold on, why am I getting messages on the survey? Let me double check and make sure that it's in the shareable part. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Tom, I'm going to turn this over to you to talk about upcoming events while I fix this.
Good tag team here. Okay. Well, our next convening of our charter chat is for April 29th, same time, same bat channel. We have our next quarterly training, which we do pretty much every year in the spring. We do the road to renewal and check in again on what the latest and greatest thinking and developments are on the renewal front. So please mark that on your calendar as well and join us. You get two CASI check-ins in 1 month next month. CASI also is doing its traditional full-day pre-conference at the CCAP conference, which is June 16th to 18th. This year we're in San Diego. And that will be the sort of the Charter Authorizing and Oversight 101. That also is sort of for those who are new to the field but want to stay for the full conference. That's sort of your orientation to everything so that the sessions in the rest of the conference make sense to you. For a lot of the presenters are the people on this charter chat. So those of you in the field doing the day-to-day authorizing, I did want to mention, if you didn't see it on the website or on LinkedIn or somewhere, that we did bump out the deadline. If you had a proposal and you thought, shucks, we missed the deadline, and you still have some time to put the finishing touches on it, get it into us by the end of the month. To be fair to the people who busted their butts to get it in and now are like, oh, why didn't you tell me that before? If we have to make a choice, we'll go with the one that came in earlier. But we have room in the program, so especially for some new and cool ideas. So we'd love to hear more of them. Thanks to all of you who submitted a lot of great proposals. CASI also will be featured in the rest of the program because Michelle told me, put in some good stuff. So we've got some stuff coming. And just one last note. This year, one thing that we've had feedback suggestions for it for quite a while, and this is the year we're running with the idea is that we are going to have a strand for board members. And so the reason I mentioned that is the best way realistically that board members are going to hear about it are through staff. Yeah, we will try to reach out directly, but if you have some board members that you think they're always interested in the charter stuff, maybe let me bring that to their occasion. Or this board member is new, we don't have a lot of time with them to sort of bring them up to speed on authorizing stuff. Maybe we can get them to CCAP. We will also provide some specific information about that you can use if you want to think about that and have that conversation. But we're pretty excited, and we've been talking to some of you in the field about your ideas on that. So stay tuned.
All right, thank you. I think we've now got the survey working again. I'm now up to 6 responses, so thank you. So next month, we will have our CASI quarterly training on the road to renewal. So if you didn't get enough information during our breakout session today on renewals, please come to the quarterly training next month. We will be talking about everything about renewals that you want to know or were too afraid to ask. So we will have that. We also have the CASI pre-conference. Thank you, Tom, for sharing that info. Next slide, please. There are also Authorizing 101, Fiscal 101, or the topic of your choice. CASI can bring free training via Zoom or on-site locally to anyone who needs additional training, and it is free. We can also do an Authorizer 101, and it can be tailored to local topic priorities. We can pair it with training for charter schools or combine. So please reach out via CASI@cde.gov. Next slide, please. So we also have one-on-one support, technical support. You can reach out to me. Mentoring support, reach out to Deidre. On-site training, reach out to Indra. Please see the resource page for more information. Next slide, please. And here's the way you can contact us, CASI@cde.ca.gov. And next slide. Thank you. You are actually going to get the gift of 4 minutes. I don't think we've ever done a 4-minute gift before, but thank you so much for being part of us. Thank you for responding to our survey. We now have 10 responses. Yay! It was great seeing all of you, and it was great being back after being gone for last month. And thank you all for your participation. Bye.